The great hall of the Nexus station stretched beyond sight. 200 species filled the chamber, each one different from the next. Some had scales, others had fur. Some breathed oxygen, others needed methane tanks. But today they all agreed on one thing. Humanity had to be stopped. Taman stood in the center of the circular room. His black suit looked plain compared to the colorful robes and armor around him. Next to him, Hana clutched a datapad. Her hands shook slightly, but her voice would not. They were the only two humans in a room filled with beings who wanted to change their world. The Hive Queen Velroth sat on the highest seat. Her insect body reflected the blue light of the chamber. Her compound eyes glittered as she looked down at the humans. When she spoke, her voice came from everywhere at once, translated by machines into every language. "We gather today to decide the fate of Earth," Velroth said. "A world that has only now discovered faster than light travel. A world we must address before it becomes a threat." Taman felt anger rise in his chest, but he kept his face calm. He had been a soldier once. He knew when to fight and when to wait. Kryn of the Scaled Dominion stood up. His reptilian body towered over most other species. His claws clicked on the metal floor as he moved to the speaking platform. "The humans are dangerous," he said, his voice a deep growl. "Look at their history. They fight each other constantly. They created weapons that can destroy their own world. They compete for everything. Resources, land, power. If we let them grow stronger, they will threaten us all." Other species murmured in agreement, a floating gas being pulsed with red light showing approval. A four-armed delegate nodded all four of his heads. Hana stepped forward. The room fell silent. She pressed a button on her datapad and images appeared in the air above them. Cities filled with lights, space stations, ships traveling between planets, children of different races playing together. "You judge us by our past," Hana said. Her voice carried across the chamber. "But we have grown. We stopped fighting each other. We united our world. We reached for the stars, not with weapons, but with hope. We asked to join the galactic community in peace. We offered trade, knowledge, friendship. And this is how you answer?" A small blue alien with large eyes spoke up. "But your weapons. You still have so many weapons." "We have weapons because we remember our past," Hana replied. "We know that peace must be protected. But we have not used them against each other in 50 years. We have not pointed them at any of you." "Can all of you say the same?" The room erupted in angry sounds. Clicks, hisses, roars, and chirps filled the air. Velroth raised one of her clawed limbs and silence returned. "Your words are pretty," the Hive Queen said, "but words are not enough. We have seen species like yours before. Aggressive, competitive, territorial. They always become problems. The Council has decided that prevention is better than cure." "We will vote now," Taman finally spoke. His voice was quiet, but somehow it reached every corner of the room. "You fear us because you do not understand us. You see our competition and think it makes us cruel, but it makes us strong. You see our weapons and think we are violent, but they taught us the cost of war. You see our independence and think we are dangerous, but we learned that survival means standing together." "Enough," Kryn snarled. "The human speaks to delay the inevitable." "Call the vote, Chairwoman." Velroth's voice rang out. "All in favor of placing Earth under Galactic Protectorate governance, requiring immediate disarmament and accepting Council oversight, indicate now." Lights appeared above each delegate's seat. Red meant yes. Blue meant no. Green meant abstain. The chamber filled with red light. Like blood, Taman thought. The counter on the wall climbed. 100, 150, 180. It stopped at 197.2 species abstained. Their lights glowed green. One species voted blue, one single voice of reason in a room full of fear. "The motion passes," Velroth announced. "Earth has 30 days to comply with the following terms. Surrender all weapons of mass destruction. Accept protectorate governors in all major cities. Submit all military forces to Council command. Agree to population controls and resource quotas. Refuse and the Council will enforce compliance by force." Hana's face went pale. Taman put a hand on her shoulder. He looked up at Velroth, then let his gaze sweep across the entire chamber. Every species, every delegate, every being that had voted to enslave his world. "You have made a terrible mistake," Taman said quietly. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Kryn's roar of amusement was loudest. "The human threatens us." "How amusing. You have 300 ships. We have millions. You have one world. We have thousands. What will you do, little human? What can you possibly do? Taman smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator that had been underestimated. You will find out. The quantum gate activated with a flash of light. Taman and Hana stepped through, leaving the Nexus station behind. The journey back to Earth took only seconds. When they emerged, they stood in the Seoul Gateway Station. Hundreds of people waited for news. Politicians, military officers, scientists, reporters. All of them looked at Taman and Hana with hope and fear. They voted against us, Hana said. Her voice cracked. 197 to 1. The crowd erupted in shouts. Some people cried. Others cursed. Several military officers immediately began speaking into communication devices. The president of the United Earth government stepped forward. She was an older woman with gray hair and tired eyes. How long do we have? 30 days, Taman replied. Then they come to force us into chains, and if we refuse? War. The president nodded slowly. She had been a soldier too long ago. She understood what was coming. Then we prepare. Alert all defense forces. Activate the deep vaults. Wake up the sleepers. Taman met her eyes. The Omega protocols? All of them, the president confirmed. They want to conquer Earth. They think we are weak, primitive, easy prey. Let us show them what happens when you threaten humanity. Around them, alarms began to sound. Not panic alarms. These were different. Deep rhythmic pulses that had not been heard in 50 years. Every human on Earth knew what they meant. The sounds that meant only one thing. War was coming. In the 30 days that followed, Earth transformed. Factories that made consumer goods switched to making weapons. Scientists who studied peaceful applications of technology now worked on war machines. Artists and musicians joined the military. Teachers became trainers. Children were evacuated to underground cities that had been prepared decades ago, just in case. The quantum gate network buzzed with activity. Supplies moved between continents. Soldiers took positions. Ships that had been exploring the solar system returned home and received new orders. And in secret facilities hidden deep underground and in the dark side of the moon, things that had been sleeping began to wake up. Weapons that humanity had built but hoped never to use. Technologies that had been banned by the Council but developed anyway. Soldiers who had volunteered to sleep in stasis, waiting for the day their world needed them most. That day had come. On the 30th day, the alien fleet arrived. 1,000 ships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. They arranged themselves in formation, confident and proud. They sent one final message to Earth: surrender now. This is your last chance. The response came from every communication device on every human ship, every station, every settlement from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. One voice, speaking as one people. Come and take it. The first war between humanity and the galaxy had begun. The alien armada looked beautiful against the black of space. 1,000 ships from 40 different species, each one massive and powerful. Their hulls gleamed under the distant light of the sun. They moved in perfect formation, confident in their superiority. After all, Earth only had 300 ships. The math seemed simple. Commander Deho stood on the bridge of his flagship, the EDS Indomitable. His gray hair was cut military short. Scars crossed his weathered face. Memories of battles fought during the Unity Wars 50 years ago. He studied the alien formation on his screens and smiled. They move like they are in a parade, he said to his crew. Pretty formations. Organized lines. They have forgotten what real war looks like. His second-in-command, Captain Juan, checked her weapon systems. She was young, barely 30, but she had trained her entire life for this moment. All ships report ready, Commander. Waiting for your orders, Deho nodded. Remember the plan. No heroics, no glory. Just survival. We hit them hard, we hit them fast, and we disappear. Make them fear the dark. Make them fear the silence. Make them understand that space is our home, not theirs. The alien fleet broadcast their message again. The translation came through in dozens of languages, but the meaning was the same. Surrender or die. Deho opened a channel that broadcast to every human ship in the solar system. You all know what they want. They want to put chains on our world. They want to tell us how to live, what to think, where we can go. They voted to enslave us because they are afraid. Good. They should be afraid. Today we show them why. Today we show them that humanity does not kneel. Not to them. Not to anyone. All ships engage at will. The human fleet scattered. No formations, no parade. Each ship moved independently, following tactics that had been practiced for months. They dove into the asteroid belt, disappeared behind the moon, vanished into the dark spaces between planets. The alien fleet hesitated. Their sensors showed human ships everywhere and nowhere. Their commanders argued about what to do. Should they chase? Should they hold formation? They had never fought an enemy that refused to stand and fight properly. The first attack came from behind the moon. 20 human ships appeared, fired everything they had at the closest alien vessels, and vanished back behind the lunar surface before the aliens could respond. 3 alien ships exploded. 5 more took heavy damage. The alien fleet tried to respond, but the humans were already gone. A minute later, another attack came from the asteroid belt. Human ships used the rocks as cover, firing missiles and energy weapons before hiding again. More alien ships took damage. They fight like cowards, Kryn roared from his command ship. They hide like insects. All ships pursue and destroy. Hundreds of alien vessels broke formation to chase the human ships. They split up, each group chasing a different target. This was exactly what Deho wanted. Phase 2, he ordered. Release the swarm. From Earth, from the moon, from stations hidden throughout the solar system, small objects launched. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. Each one was smaller than a fighter craft. The aliens detected them on sensors but dismissed them as debris or mines. They were wrong. Yunji watched from her command center deep under the surface of the moon. She was the designer of the swarm, the chief engineer of humanity's Black Site Research Division. For 10 years she had built these machines. Autonomous war drones, each one equipped with advanced artificial intelligence and enough weapons to cripple a ship 3 times its size. Activate Hunter protocols, she said calmly. The swarm came alive. Millions of small machines, each one thinking for itself but working together like a single organism. They moved through space faster than the alien ships could track. They identified weak points in alien shields, spots where armor was thinner, places where weapons could not reach. Then they attacked. The alien fleet discovered that their shields, designed to stop large weapons, were almost useless against thousands of small ones. The drones slipped through, attached to hulls, and fired at point-blank range. They targeted engines, weapons, life support systems. They worked together, multiple drones focusing on single ships until they were destroyed. Panic spread through the alien fleet. Ships collided with each other, trying to escape the swarm. Captains shouted contradictory orders. Species that had never trusted each other started blaming one another for the disaster. Captain Juwan led a strike team of 50 ships into the chaos. They used the confusion to attack the largest alien vessels, the command ships. Her team moved like sharks through water, fast and deadly. She personally took out a scaled Dominion battleship, ramming her ship into its bridge after her crew evacuated in escape pods. 1 life for 300, she said over the radio as her ship hit. Worth it, but she survived. Her escape pod was picked up by another human ship. She was back in a new fighter within an hour, attacking again. The battle lasted for 18 hours. When it ended, the alien fleet retreated. They had started with 1,000 ships. They left with 700. 300 vessels destroyed or too damaged to continue. Thousands of alien soldiers dead. The human fleet had lost 40 ships. It was a devastating loss for Earth. But compared to the aliens, it was a victory. Daiho stood on his damaged bridge, blood running from a cut on his forehead. Send a message to Earth, the line holds. We won. Across human space, people celebrated. They had been told the aliens were unstoppable. They had been told surrender was the only option. But their soldiers had proven otherwise. Earth could fight. Earth could win. At the Nexus station, the council gathered in emergency session. The delegates were no longer calm and superior. They looked scared. Velroth's compound eyes reflected the casualty reports. How? She whispered. How did primitives destroy 300 of our ships? An intelligence officer, a thin gray alien with large black eyes, spoke nervously. They use tactics we have not seen in centuries. No formation, no rules. They fight like animals, and their technology is more advanced than we thought. Those drones should not exist. The processing power required, the miniaturization, the AI systems. It would take us decades to develop such things. They have been preparing, Kryn said. His voice was quieter now, thoughtful. All this time, while we thought they were exploring and trading, they were preparing for war. They knew this day might come. They were ready. Velroth stood up. Her pride was wounded, but she was not defeated. Then we send more ships. We send 10,000. We send enough that their tricks will not matter. We will crush them with numbers. And the cost? A small blue delegate asked. Whatever it takes, Velroth replied. We cannot allow them to win. If humanity defeats us, every other species will see it. Our authority will collapse. No, we must win. We must show the galaxy that the Council is still supreme. The vote was called again. This time it was not about conquest. It was about survival, about maintaining power, about pride. Every species voted yes. 10,000 ships would be gathered. The full military might of the Galactic Council would descend on Earth. Back on Earth, Daiho received the intelligence report. 10,000 ships coming. He sat down heavily, suddenly feeling his age. His officers looked at him, waiting for his response. Can we win? Chuan asked quietly. Daiho was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. They think numbers will save them. They still do not understand. War is not about who has more ships. It is about who is willing to pay the price. And we will pay any price to keep our freedom. Yes, Captain. We can win, but it will cost us everything. He stood up and looked at his officers, young and old, men and women, all of them ready to die for their world. Send a message to the Council. Tell them this. You can send 10,000 ships. You can send 100,000. It will not matter. Earth does not surrender. Earth does not kneel. Come and try to take our world. We will show you what humanity really means. The message was sent. The Council received it. They did not understand. They thought it was bravado. Empty words from a desperate species they would learn. The hard way. Humanity was just getting started. The second invasion fleet was 3 times larger than the first. 10,000 ships surrounded Earth like a metal storm. This time the aliens did not negotiate. This time they did not wait. The bombardment began immediately. Fire rained from the sky. Energy beams and missiles struck cities across every continent. Buildings that had stood for centuries vanished in flashes of light. The aliens targeted population centers first, trying to break humanity's spirit with overwhelming force. But the buildings were empty. Weeks ago, during the first battle, Earth's government had begun evacuations. Billions of people moved underground into shelters that had been prepared for decades. Cities became ghost towns. When the bombardment hit, it destroyed concrete and steel, but not lives. The aliens landed their ground forces, 100,000 soldiers from 20 different species. They expected to find broken survivors begging for mercy. Instead, they found silence. Empty streets. Abandoned buildings. It made them nervous. In Seoul, Minho watched the alien soldiers through his scope. He lay on the roof of a building that looked destroyed but was actually reinforced. His team of 50 fighters was hidden throughout the district. They had been waiting for 3 days, barely moving, barely breathing. Minho had been a Special Forces operative during the Unity Wars. He knew patience. He knew how to wait for the perfect moment. His second-in-command, Yuna, lay beside him. Her sniper rifle was trained on the alien commander, a tall insectoid with blue armor. Range? Minho whispered. 800 meters, Yuna replied. Wind is minimal. I can make the shot, not yet. Let them get comfortable. Let them think they are safe. The alien soldiers moved through the streets in formation. They were well-trained and disciplined, but they were used to fighting other organized armies. They expected battles with clear front lines. They did not understand guerrilla warfare. Minho waited until the entire alien company was in the kill zone. He raised his hand. Around him, his team watched. When his hand dropped, everything happened at once. Yuna fired. The alien commander's head exploded. Before his body hit the ground, 50 more shots rang out. Humans firing from windows, from rooftops, from underground tunnels. Half the alien soldiers fell in the first 5 seconds. The aliens tried to return fire, but they could not see their attackers. Minho's team had already moved. They fired from new positions, then moved again. The aliens had superior weapons and armor, but it did not matter. They could not hit what they could not see. 10 minutes later, the entire alien company was dead. Minho's team disappeared into the underground tunnels before reinforcements could arrive. They took the alien weapons with them. Every piece of technology was valuable. Yunji's engineers would study it, copy it, improve it. This scene repeated across Earth. In New York, Tokyo, London, Cairo, Sydney. Human resistance fighters used every advantage. They knew the terrain. They knew the buildings. They had prepared traps and escape routes. The aliens were fighting on humanity's home ground, and they were losing badly. Sunwoo coordinated the resistance from an underground command center in Seoul. His screen showed reports from hundreds of cells across the planet. Food, weapons, medicine, information. Everything moved through networks the aliens could not detect. Every time they thought they had found a resistance base, it was already empty. The humans were always one step ahead. Team 17 reports successful ambush, one of his assistants said. 40 alien casualties. No losses. Team 9 requests ammunition resupply. Team 23 has captured an alien supply depot. Sunwoo processed it all, moving resources where they were needed, coordinating attacks to keep the aliens off balance. He barely slept. None of them did. But they were winning. The aliens tried different tactics. They brought in heavy armor. The humans used stolen alien technology to build weapons that could pierce it. They tried aerial surveillance. The humans shot down their drones and stayed underground during the day. They tried hostages, but there were no civilians left to capture. After 2 months of fighting, the aliens controlled nothing. Every piece of ground they claimed during the day was lost at night. Their casualties climbed into the thousands, then tens of thousands. Medical ships overflowed with wounded. Morale collapsed. In space, Commander Daeho continued his harassment campaign. The alien blockade struggled to maintain position. Human ships appeared without warning, struck hard, and vanished. They hid in the asteroid belt, inside gas giants, even inside the moon itself. Places the aliens never thought to look. Daeho stood on the bridge of his new flagship. His old one had been destroyed 2 weeks ago, but he had simply transferred to another ship and continued fighting. Status on the Jupiter operation? Strike team is in position, Ju-won reported. She had been promoted after her bravery in the first battle, waiting for the alien supply convoy. Execute when ready. 6 hours later, an alien supply convoy heading toward Earth emerged from Jupiter's gravity well. They thought they were safe. Instead, 30 human ships were waiting, hidden in the planet's magnetic field. The convoy was destroyed in minutes. The aliens were learning a terrible lesson. In space, the humans were ghosts. On the ground, they were monsters. And they never ever stopped fighting. The scaled Dominion sent their best warriors to Earth, elite soldiers who had conquered a dozen worlds. Kryn himself led them. His pride demanded he defeat the humans personally. They landed in Seoul, in the sector where Minho operated. Kryn had studied the reports. He knew about the human commander who had killed so many of his soldiers. He wanted revenge. Find him, Kryn ordered his troops. Find this Minho and bring him to me. But Minho found them first. His team lured the scaled Dominion soldiers into the Seoul subway system. The tunnels went deep underground, kilometers of darkness and abandoned stations. The aliens followed, confident in their superior strength and weapons. Minho had spent weeks preparing the trap. Explosives were placed at key support structures. Chemical weapons designed specifically for reptilian biology filled ventilation shafts. Psychological warfare tools created sounds and lights that drove the aliens mad with fear and confusion. When Kryn's forces were deep in the tunnels, Minho gave the order. The charges exploded. Tunnels collapsed. Thousands of tons of concrete and steel fell. Hundreds of alien soldiers died instantly. The survivors found themselves trapped in darkness, breathing chemicals that made their minds scream. They tried to dig out. They tried to call for help. But the humans jammed their communications, and in the darkness, Minho's team moved like shadows. They picked off the aliens one by one. Not with mercy. Not with honor. With cold, calculated efficiency, Kryn survived. Barely. He was pulled from the rubble by his own soldiers, half dead and broken. When he was evacuated to the medical ships, he was missing one arm and both eyes. The great warrior defeated not in glorious battle, but buried alive by primitives. The Hive Queen sent her prize soldiers next. They were genetically engineered for war, each one worth 10 normal soldiers. They could not feel fear. They could not feel pain. They were perfect warriors. They lasted 3 days on Earth. Yuna killed their commanders from impossible distances. Minho's team used psychological warfare that drove them insane despite their conditioning. Sunwoo cut off their supply lines until they starved. Perfect warriors needed food like everyone else. After 3 months of grinding warfare, the Council called for a status report. The numbers were devastating. 800,000 alien soldiers dead or missing, 2,000 ships destroyed in space. Territory controlled on Earth, 0. Progress toward victory, none. Member species began to panic. The Scaled Dominion withdrew their remaining forces. 3 other species voted to pull out completely. They had seen enough. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the predator. At the Nexus station, Velroth stared at the reports. Her certainty was gone. For the first time, she felt something she had never experienced before. Fear. Request negotiations, a small blue delegate said. We must find a peaceful solution. No, Velroth said, but her voice lacked conviction. If we negotiate now, it shows weakness. We are weak, another delegate said bluntly. The humans have proven it. We must make peace before they destroy us all. Before the debate could continue, a new message arrived from Earth. It was from Taman. He had been silent since the war began, but now he spoke again. The council watched as his image appeared on their screens. He looked tired. There were dark circles under his eyes. But when he spoke, his voice was firm. You voted to conquer us. You attacked our world. You killed our people. Now we will show you what conquest truly means. You wanted war. Now you will have it. But not on your terms, on ours. We are coming for you, the message ended. The council sat in stunned silence. Then chaos erupted. Delegates shouted, demanded action, called for more ships, more soldiers, more weapons. But the bravest among them, the ones who understood what they were seeing, said nothing. They knew the truth. Humanity had been fighting defensively for 3 months. Now they were about to attack. And the galaxy was not ready for what was coming. The quantum gates across the galaxy lit up simultaneously. Human ships emerged in 12 different star systems. Not to conquer, not to occupy, but to demonstrate exactly what Earth was capable of when it stopped defending and started attacking. Admiral Hyunwoo commanded the first expeditionary fleet from his flagship, the EDS Retribution. He was younger than Daeho, only 45, but he had spent 20 years studying alien warfare. He knew their tactics, their weaknesses, their fears, and he knew how to exploit all of them. Remember your orders, Hyunwoo said to his fleet commanders. Military targets only. Minimize civilian casualties. We are not here to be monsters. We are here to make a point. They could have had peace. They chose war. Now they will understand the difference between us and them. We have mercy. They did not. The first target was a scaled Dominion military installation on their colony world of Krenix. The base housed 50,000 soldiers and controlled orbital defenses for 3 planets. It was supposed to be impregnable. Commander Seojun led the ground assault. His Marines had trained for months in captured alien environments. They knew how the aliens thought, how they fought, how they would react. The attack began at dawn, when the reptilian soldiers were least alert. Seojun's forces moved like smoke through the base. They used adaptive camouflage that made them nearly invisible. They carried weapons tuned to frequencies that disrupted reptilian neural systems. Every shot was precise. Every movement was calculated. They were not soldiers. They were surgeons cutting out a cancer with perfect precision. The base fell in 6 hours. 50,000 alien soldiers defeated by 5,000 humans. Seojun stood in the command center and broadcast a message from Taman to every screen in the facility. We could have killed you all. We chose not to. Remember this mercy. You showed us none, then the humans left. They did not occupy. They did not loot. They simply demonstrated their capability and departed. The message was clear. Earth could strike anywhere, anytime, and no alien installation was safe. On the Hive Queen's primary colony world, a different kind of operation unfolded. Jiwon led an intelligence team of just 20 people. They were not warriors. They were specialists in xenopsychology, technology, and infiltration. The Hive Queen's palace was the most secure location in her empire. Thousands of guards, advanced sensors, multiple layers of shielding. Breaking in should have been impossible. Jiwon's team did it in 3 days. They used captured hive technology to mimic pheromone signatures. They hacked security systems using algorithms designed by Yoonji's engineers. They moved through the palace like they belonged there. And they reached the Queen's private chambers without firing a single shot. The Hive Queen woke to find a human standing in her room. Jiwon stood calmly holding a datapad. Around her, the Queen's personal guards lay unconscious, disabled by neural disruptors. How? Velroth whispered. Her voice shook with fear and humiliation. We studied you, Jiwon replied. We learned everything about your species. Your biology, your psychology, your technology. You thought we were primitive. You were wrong. We are adaptive. It is our greatest strength. Ji-won placed the datapad on a table. Watch this. Then think about what it means. She activated the pad and left the room. The Hive Queen watched as the recording played. It showed every security measure in her palace, every guard position, every secret entrance. It showed how easy it had been for humans to penetrate her defenses. And at the end, Taemin's face appeared. We were in your throne room. We could have killed you. We chose not to. This is mercy. Learn from it. The humans left the planet without firing a shot, but the damage was done. The Hive Queen's authority was shattered. If humans could reach her in her own palace, she could not protect anyone. Species under her protection began to question her power. Across the galaxy, similar operations unfolded. Human forces struck installations on 12 worlds. Every attack was different. Every attack was successful. And every attack demonstrated the same thing. Humanity had been holding back. They had been fighting defensively because they did not want war. But if war was what the Council wanted, humanity would show them what real war looked like. Admiral Hyunwoo coordinated it all from his flagship. Reports came in from every operation. Objectives achieved. Casualties minimal. Messages delivered. He allowed himself a small smile. The first phase was complete. Begin phase 2, he ordered. Intelligence dissemination. Ji-won had prepared for this. Her team had spent months gathering information about the Council. Secret deals, hidden corruption, species exploited and oppressed, the truth about how the Galactic Council really operated. Now that truth flooded every communication network in the galaxy. Smaller species learned that the Council had been suppressing their development. Independent worlds discovered they had been manipulated into joining through economic warfare. Even Council member species found out they had been lied to about resources, threats, and policies. The information spread like wildfire. Protests erupted on dozens of worlds. 3 species immediately withdrew from the Council. 5 more demanded investigations into Council leadership. The carefully maintained image of galactic unity began to crack. At the Nexus station, Velroth watched her authority collapse in real time. Delegates shouted at each other. Accusations flew. Old alliances fractured. And through it all, human ships maintained a blockade around the station. Not attacking. Just watching, waiting. We must negotiate, the small blue delegate pleaded. Look at what they have done. And they have barely started. If we continue this war, they will destroy us. We still have the superior numbers, Velroth said, but she sounded uncertain. Numbers mean nothing, an old delegate said. He was from a species that had lived for thousands of years. I have seen many wars. The ones who win are not always the strongest. They are the ones who want it more. And look at the humans. Every single one of them fights like it is personal. Every single one would die to protect their world. Can you say the same about our soldiers? Silence fell over the chamber. They all knew the answer. Most Council species fought because they were told to. Humans fought because they believed. That made all the difference. Kryn pulled himself to his feet. The great warrior was broken now, missing limbs and organs, but he still commanded respect. I fought them, he said quietly. I led our best warriors, and we lost. Not because they were stronger, because they were smarter, because they were more determined, because they understood something we forgot. War is not about glory, it is about survival, and they will do anything to survive. Anything. He looked at Velroth, and this before they truly get angry. Everything they have done so far has been restrained. They could have destroyed our worlds. They did not. They showed mercy. If we continue, they will stop showing mercy, and then we will see what humans are really capable of. Before Velroth could respond, alarms blared throughout the Nexus station. Multiple human fleets had appeared in the system. Not just ships. Hundreds of ships. More than the Council had known Earth possessed. Admiral Hyunwoo's face appeared on every screen in the Council chamber. He sat calmly in his command chair, looking relaxed. Behind him, the bridge crew worked efficiently. Greetings, Galactic Council, Hyunwoo said. I am Admiral Hyunwoo of the United Earth Forces. You are now surrounded. Your defenses are disabled. Your ships are outmatched. But we are not here to destroy you. Not yet, he leaned forward. Ambassador Taemin has a message for you. I suggest you listen carefully. Your next decision will determine whether your council continues to exist. The image changed. Taemin appeared. He stood in what looked like a simple room on Earth. Behind him, through a window, Earth could be seen. Beautiful and blue and whole despite everything the Council had tried to do to it. "You have 48 hours, Taman said. You will vote again. This time you will vote to recognize Earth as a sovereign power with full Council representation. You will vote to pay reparations for the unprovoked attack on our world. You will vote to reform the Council so that no species can be threatened the way you threatened us, or..." He paused. The silence stretched. "Or we will dismantle your Council, ship by ship, world by world. We will not destroy you, but we will break your power. And we will create a new order in this galaxy. One where strength is respected but weakness is not exploited. One where species are free to grow without fear of conquest. Choose." The transmission ended. The Council sat in shocked silence. Then everyone started talking at once. Some demanded they fight. Others begged for peace. But everyone knew the truth. They had lost. Humanity had won. In his command chair, Hyunwoo watched and waited. Beside him, Commander Seojin stood ready. Around them, the most powerful fleet Earth had ever assembled held position. They did not want to fight, but they would if they had to. Humanity had been patient for 3 months. They had been merciful when they could have been cruel. But their patience was running out, and the galaxy was about to learn what happens when you back a predator into a corner and it decides to stop running. The 48-hour countdown began. The Council chamber felt different now. The same room where humanity had been condemned was now silent and tense. Many seats were empty. Some delegates had fled. Others were recalled by their governments who no longer trusted the Council's leadership. The ones who remained looked defeated. Taman walked through the chamber doors with Hana beside him. No guards stopped them. No one protested. The human fleet outside made sure of that. He moved to the center of the room, the same spot where he had stood months ago when the Council voted to enslave his world. Everything had changed since then. Velroth sat in her high chair, but she seemed smaller now. Her compound eyes no longer reflected arrogance. They showed fear and resignation. She had lost everything, her authority, her pride, her certainty that the Council was supreme. "The vote will now be called," Velroth said. Her voice was quiet. "All in favor of recognizing Earth as a sovereign power with full Council representation, along with the additional terms presented by humanity, indicate now." The lights appeared above each delegate's seat. This time there was no red. Every single light glowed blue. Yes, unanimous. The thing they could not give humanity before, they gave now. Not out of respect, out of fear. "The motion passes," Velroth announced. "Earth is hereby recognized as a sovereign Council member with 3 permanent seats. Reparations will be paid. Council reforms will be implemented. We accept your terms." Taman nodded slowly. He should have felt triumph. Instead, he felt tired. So many people had died to reach this moment, human and alien both, all because of fear and pride. "There is one more thing," Taman said. "The Council's structure must change. From now on, developing species will be protected, not threatened. They will have time to grow without interference. And if any species votes to attack another without provocation, the full weight of Council military forces will defend the victim, including Earth's forces." A murmur ran through the chamber. This was unprecedented. The Council had always been about control. Now it would be about protection, the powerful serving the weak instead of exploiting them. "These terms are accepted," Velroth said. She stood up slowly. "Ambassador Taman, may I speak with you privately?" They met in a small room off the main chamber. Just the two of them. The Hive Queen looked old now, tired despite her alien biology. She studied Taman for a long moment. "You made us into monsters," she said quietly. "We attacked you without cause. We tried to enslave your world. We killed your people, and you repaid us with mercy. You could have destroyed dozens of our worlds. You did not. Why?" Taman sat down. "Because we learned something you forgot. Revenge feels good for a moment, but it solves nothing. We could have become the very thing you feared. Conquerors, destroyers, but that would prove you were right about us. So instead we will prove you were wrong." "You were not primitives," Velroth said. "You never were. We should have seen it. Your aggression was not weakness. It was strength. Your competition drove you to excel. Your independence made you resilient. We feared these things because we have lost them. We became comfortable, complacent. You reminded us what it means to fight for survival. Your mistake was thinking we wanted to fight, Taman replied. We did not. We wanted peace. We wanted to learn from you, to trade with you, to be part of your galactic community. You forced us to become warriors, but we never forgot that we could also be diplomats, scientists, teachers, artists. War was necessary, but it is not who we are. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, human ships patrolled alongside alien vessels. Former enemies working together. It had started just hours ago after the vote. A symbolic gesture, but symbols mattered. The galaxy will remember this day, Taman said, not because Earth won a war, but because of what we do next. We will help rebuild what was destroyed. We will share our technology. We will protect species that cannot protect themselves. We will be the protectors we needed when you attacked us. And if we betray this trust? Velroth asked. If we attack you again someday? Taman turned to look at her. His eyes were hard. Then we will not show mercy a second time. We gave you a chance to choose peace. You chose war, we won. Now we are giving you peace anyway. But this is the only chance you get. Remember that. Back on Earth, celebrations filled the streets. People emerged from underground shelters for the first time in months. They hugged each other and cried. The war was over. They had won. Their world was free. Commander Deho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the celebrations through transmitted video feeds. Around him, his crew was laughing and cheering. But Deho felt no joy. He thought about the 40 ships he had lost, the thousands of soldiers who would never see this victory. Captain Juwon noticed his expression. Commander, are you not happy? I am relieved, Deho said, but not happy. Too many good people died. On both sides, this victory cost us everything we had, and it will take years to recover. But we are free, Juwon said. Yes, we are free. And now comes the hard part. Staying free, staying strong, but also staying human. We must not become what they feared we would be. That will be harder than any battle. In Seoul, Minho walked through the ruined streets of his city. Buildings were destroyed. Infrastructure was wrecked. It would take decades to rebuild. But people were returning, setting up temporary shelters, starting to clean up, starting to rebuild. Yuna walked beside him. It feels strange, she said. No one is shooting at us. Get used to it, Minho replied. The shooting is over. Now comes the work. Rebuilding, healing, moving forward. Sunwoo joined them, carrying a tablet filled with reconstruction plans. His underground network was transitioning from war operations to peacetime logistics. Food distribution, medical supplies, housing coordination. The skills that had kept resistance fighters alive would now help civilians rebuild. I received a message from the government, Sunwoo said. They want us to train a new defense force. Make sure we are ready if this happens again. It will not happen again, Yuna said. Will it? Minho looked at the sky. Somewhere up there, human ships now patrolled with alien vessels, former enemies learning to work together. No, not like this. We made sure of that. But we must stay ready anyway. Peace is not the absence of war. It is the presence of strength that prevents war. At the Nexus Station, the first official session of the reformed Galactic Council convened. The chamber looked different. New seats had been added. 3 of them for Earth's representatives. Taman sat in one, Hana in another, and in the third sat Admiral Hyunwoo, representing Earth's military interests. Commander Seojin stood nearby as security. The symbolism was clear. Humanity was now part of the Council's power structure, and humanity's military strength backed up their diplomatic voice. The first order of business was reparations. Species that had attacked Earth agreed to pay for reconstruction, technology transfers, trade agreements, educational exchanges. The galaxy would help Earth rebuild, and Earth would share its knowledge in return. The second order was defense reform. A new joint galactic defense force was established. Admiral Daiho was appointed as its first commander, with species representatives serving under him. The force would protect developing worlds and prevent future aggressive votes like the one against Earth. We are entering a new era, Taman announced to the Council. An era where strength serves justice, not oppression. Where the powerful protect the weak. Where diversity is celebrated, not feared. Humanity will lead by example. We hope you will follow. Months passed. The wounds slowly healed. Earth rebuilt its cities. The defense fleet was reorganized. Soldiers transitioned to peacetime roles. Minho became a teacher, training the next generation of defenders. Yuna returned to engineering, helping design new technologies. Sun Wu entered politics, ensuring that the sacrifices made during the war would not be forgotten. Daeho retired to spend time with his family. He had earned his rest. Joan took command of the home fleet, maintaining vigilance while allowing peace to flourish. Seojun became Earth's ambassador to the Scaled Dominion, building bridges where there had been only enmity. Yoonji continued her work in research, but now she focused on peaceful applications. Medical technology, agricultural improvements, environmental restoration. The genius that had built weapons of war now built tools of peace. A year after the war ended, Taemin stood on a balcony overlooking Seoul. The city had been rebuilt. New buildings rose where old ones had fallen. Parks replaced bomb craters. Life had returned to normal. Or as normal as it could be in a world that had changed forever. Hana joined him. The council is meeting next week. They want to discuss expanding protection protocols to 15 more developing worlds. Good, Taemin said. That is what we fought for. Not just our freedom, but freedom for all species. Do you think it will last? Hana asked. This peace? Taemin was quiet for a moment. I think it will last as long as we remember the cost of war. As long as we stay strong enough that no one dares attack us. As long as we use our strength to protect others instead of dominating them. We cannot control the galaxy, but we can show them a better way. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, human ships patrolled. Somewhere up there, former enemies now worked as allies. Somewhere up there, the galaxy was learning a new truth. Humanity had been voted to be conquered. Instead, humanity had conquered the vote.